Hello, everybody. My name is Brian Henry. I head up the legal sector here at HSO in the UK. And welcome to the first webinar on what we hope will be a series of webinars, which outlines the legal solutions that we're selling to the legal sector at the moment. So it's really important that if you think after this webinar, if you think we've missed something or there's something that you actually want to be added to the next one in the series, and please just let us know through the different forms of feedback that the marketing team will send out to you, because it's really important that we want to take your comments on board. We're going to be joined today in the second part of the webinar by Jonathan Butler. John has been delivering legal solutions in the UK for over 12 years. Previous to working at HSO, he worked for Thomson Reuters. Previous to that, he was the product manager for Interaction. So a lot of experience over the course of the last 12 years, and John's going to be presenting in the second half of the webinar. Okay, so the agenda, what we're going to cover today. So I think it's really important that you understand who HSO are, for those of you that don't know us, and what qualifies us to be able to talk to you, and our experience in the legal sector and our alliance with Microsoft. So that's going to be the first slide, and it will be a slide. And then I'm going to talk through the challenges that law firms, when we're speaking to law firms with legacy applications, CRM applications, the top challenges which they're telling us that they're facing at the moment. Then I'll touch on how Legal 360 aligned with Microsoft can help solve those challenges, and how we can help you digitally transform and become a law firm of the I'll very quickly then touch on something that we're really excited about, which is a legal dataverse, something that we're calling the legal dataverse. And then I'll be handing over to John, who's going to go into a little bit more detail around what these firms are asking for, and what we've got, the solution that we've got in Legal 360 to solve those issues. If we've got time at the end, because we're on a tight schedule, if we've got time at the end, we'll talk about a free assessment that we're willing to deliver for you guys, so we can come in, have a look at your existing application, make some recommendations, and deliver a paper back to you. So that's the call to action. That's the takeaway that we're putting into this webinar series. So who are HSO? Well, we're a global systems integrator, but with a difference. Some key differentiators between us and our competition. The first differentiator is that we only focus on Microsoft technology. And within Microsoft, we laser focus on the Power Platform and D365, which sits on top of that. Now, this gives us lots of advantages over our competition. It means that we got deep relationships not only with the sales teams at Microsoft in the UK, which we work on all opportunities together, but also with the product teams back at Redmond. And it's really important that we feed back the comments and observations from our legal customers, so that maybe that feedback gets included in later functionality of D365. So we got that communication loop with Microsoft in the product teams. The other differentiator between us and some of the other GSIs is that we're laser focused on industry. So we only focus on a few core industries globally. And the oldest one, or most established one, is legal. So we've been delivering D365 and Power Platform projects in the legal sector for nearly 20 years. We've got over 100,000 law firm users of our Legal 360 solution. Yeah, we're well established, and we've actually got IP. So we don't just come to the table and sit down with you and understand what you want to do and then build it from scratch. We're coming to the table with IP that we've built over the last 20 years, so we can accelerate time to value and mitigate risk. So that's HSO. In terms of the challenges that that law firms are discussing with us at the moment, and we see this repeating in most RFPs that turn up on our doorstep, and there are many at the moment, because lots of people are looking to get off these legacy applications. The first one of those is how unflexible the current legacy CRM solution is. Horror stories of it takes 3 weeks to make a field change in that CRM solution, and because the fact it's hard coded. We solve that because there is no code. It's just configuration in legal on top of Legal 360, and so the system can evolve rapidly as you grow as a firm and you move into other areas. User adoption challenges. big one. So horror stories of, no one in the CRM's got a bad name within legal because of a failed project. There hasn't been the right uptake within the firm, especially fee earners who, let's be frank, haven't got the time to be entering data into a CRM project. We've solved that issue with Microsoft and Legal 360. We've got one intuitive user interface in terms of the Microsoft estate. So you can work within Legal 360, the business development and the marketing teams. You can work within Teams and you can work within Outlook. Okay, so you haven't got different screens to switch to. Really helps with user adoption. There's lots more we can discuss there too. And then data, fragmented firm-wide data, silos of data across the law firm, and poor quality data. Again, that's something that comes up on every single RFP, on every single deal that we've worked on over the last couple of years. We solve that by automation. And I'm going to touch on how we do that in a second on my next slide. So there are some common themes that we're seeing in the industry and reasons why people are moving off their legacy applications. So look, that's just represented a different view here. I've put that one of the products interaction up there, but there are many more. Okay, when we go into these law firms, are saying, look, we're saying, well, what does it do at the moment? What's the current state? And they're saying it's a glorified Rolodex. It's a contact database. It's just a tool to send out emails. It's difficult to access. It's hard to use. And because of that, we've got poor data. Because of that, we've got low adoption. This is how we can help. This is how we can help you digitally transform for all these types of processes within the market. So dashboards at the top there. Instead of turning up on your doorstep and saying, what does a managing partner want to see? What does the head of business development want to see? We've got around 80 dashboards that we bring to the table. We'll bring you the management partner dashboard and we'll say, look, this is how other firms are doing it. This is the data they want on the dashboard. How do you differ? So again, we can accelerate time to value. We can decrease risk by doing that. Getting a 360 view of a client. We've built integrations into Elite and Adherent. Most of our clients are on either Adherent, SAP, or Elite. So we've built connectors for all of those products so we can pull information through so you can get a 360 view of your client. Relationship insights. So the world's changed. We need CRM and enterprise relationship management in one system. Why? Because we're not going to get the fee earners to enter data on a day-to-day basis. So what we can do with Legal 360 is we can go back through their diaries. We can see what appointments they've had with their clients. We can see the emails in, the emails out using signature scraping, and we can bring all that intelligence, we can harvest it, and we can view that intelligence in an an intuitive dashboard. So if you're in business development and you want to know who's got the best relationship with your client, it's easy to find out, and it's sentiment analysis is part of that as well. Now, once you've found that the right fee earner, you might be working on an RFP. What we can do using those connectors into Adherent, Elite, and the other practice management systems is pull out matter experience and populate a resume that you can then embed, which we've got the facility to do and the functionality to do within Legal 360, and then embed it within your RFP response or your business development plan. There's white space analysis. John's going to talk about that. We've got processes to manage your referrals between law firms, your alumni network. All of this means that we've got a highly automated, easy to use, intuitive system that is embedded in Outlook and Teams. Okay, so we get great user adoption. And look, here's just a sample of the plethora of customers that we've got globally. On a future webinar, we'll probably go into a little bit more detail and we'll talk about some of these user cases. But they say pioneers get arrows in the back. Well, you certainly won't if you consider Legal 360, because there's lots of people that you can talk to and lots of people that can tell you how well the system works for them. I'm just going to finish on this very quickly. This is what we're calling the legal dataverse. So this is built on Microsoft Power Platform. So if you're, many of our firms, and Eversheds in the UK being one of them, where they weren't in a position to completely migrate off their legacy CRM, we can surround the legacy CRM system and take it out over a period of time. We've got a repository of Power Platform accelerators. So if you just want to do If you just want to build something, or you want a solution to manage your Illumina network, or you just want to do ERM, we can do a point solution for you on the Power Platform. And over time, we can then replace your legacy application, your legacy CRM system. So it's just another way of doing it. And it's taking advantage of Microsoft's latest investment in the Power Platform. So ultimately, what makes Dynamics 365 and Legal 360 unique? We're leveraging the best of Microsoft, both in the way that we go to market, the way that we talk to you, and the way that our product is designed. We've got a single CRM and ERM solution. So this is all integrated. So in the days of just doing CRM and having to go out and purchase an ERM solution, now it's all in one. So it can all be in one place on Microsoft, totally interoperable. Microsoft AI infused. So we committed to Charles Lalama, the head of BizApps globally, for Microsoft, that we will embed Copilot in all future releases of Legal 360. We've already done that. So you can take advantage of all the Microsoft AI functionality within Legal 360. And ultimately, what we're providing is a proven and mature solution, which has been used by all the customers that I put on the screen earlier. And we'd be delighted to talk to you about some of those case studies moving forward. So I'm just going to hand over to John, and we're going to go deeper on some of those questions. Thanks, John.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks for the introduction. Yeah, so when we put this webinar together, the question was, what were we going to cover? And what we normally get asked when we're out in the field is, what's your other customers doing? What's everybody else doing? So we thought, let's go through the tender responses that we've been responding to and winning on recently over the last 18 months. And in fact, yeah, over 12, I say the number of tenders coming out has increased considerably, and we really think that's been sort of spurred by the kind of rise of AI, and everybody's consciousness is kind of elevated about what IT can do. So what are firms looking for in those tender responses? It's really interesting. New things are coming up. Effective planning, particularly white space identification, which Brian mentioned, we'll look at in a moment through our PMS integration, and client plans and practice plans, and having those actually embedded in CRM. So they're the hub of what you do in terms of business development, those activities. New business responsibilities, new business and pipelines always been there, but it's now more focused around, in terms of the wants, the engagement of the fee earners, responsibility for ownership of that pipeline, responsibility for actually contributing to it. And referrals seems to be right up there as well, particularly be able to see reciprocity, knowing what's actually going out as well, having a structured process for doing that. Relationships is obviously key in the beating heart of CRM, and the need for reliable system-generated empirical scores of relationships, rather than just who knows who indicators. And widening that to external relationships. Can we have LinkedIn integration is obviously a common ask. And interestingly, there are some experience applications out there, but tenders are asking to have that embedded experience within CRM, so it's more immediate, it's more related to your business development workflows and so forth. And that's from the point of view of matter experiences, and be able to link those all together. So you've got a trail of work history, and also most particularly lawyer matter experiences, work histories and bios. And finally, marketing automation. I think law firms have started to wake up to the fact that Future and Concept are all very good and ticket, but the world of e-marketing has been moving on enormously for years in the outside world, and the benefits there are now for sort of automating all your event invitation and follow-up processes. So you haven't got to keep remembering to send out emails and so forth. You can automate the whole cycle, and automatically getting new subscribers into your newsletter and alert cycles. So gains there. Now, of course, this is all underpinned by technology, as Brian was talking about. And from an IT point of view, they're looking for, future assurance, no more going down cul-de-sacs with a point solution. So looking for a platform lead, and of course Microsoft has been sort of pulling ahead in terms of its breadth and depth of business solutions and platform, from cloud to AI to applications. And AI, of course, is at the top of everybody's sort of ask lists, and it's quite wide. We want AI, but nobody really articulates how they want that. And of course, low code extension is very important. Automated contact management, as Brian mentioned, being able to automatically build contacts from your Outlook relationships and update those without having to burden the lawyers for it, saving lawyers time for doing something more useful if they're going to do some CRM work, and also kind of reducing the data admin workload. And dashboards, giving everybody a focus, an entry point for what they do with CRM, not leaving the founder in going into the middle of the system trying to find the right record. So that's absolutely crucial to usability. 360 view of a client, pulling in data, and then access anywhere, anytime, through any device, and particularly Teams allowing people to work together. So that's the highlight of what firms are asking for, and the sort of the technical underpinnings to that. So how are we responding? This is just a little snapshot. We're on 16 minutes. It's just a little snapshot of some of the key things that we're responding with. So dashboards. I remember being at Interaction and Thomson Reuters with BDS, and you couldn't create a dashboard. Dashboards are absolutely the center, the focal point, the portal into Legal 360. We've got pre-configured dashboards and these many components, the charts and lists that we can build into those. So this is a typical kind of managing partner type dashboard. We've got at the top, we've got our fees information coming from our PMS. On the right, we've got this year versus last year's fees for key clients. On the right, we've got matter coverage by practice, by key client, and this is where we'll see our white space. At the bottom left, we've got our pipeline, not one of those old funnels, but this is by practice, by value, by month. So you can see where practices have got coverage, where they're exposed, where they're lacking work potentially. And then, we can add anything into these dashboards. So the third one in green is a marketing chart by practice and the number of people they've got coming to events. We can do it by value and so forth. Moving on. So let's look at white space. So we've clicked on that chart we saw on the dashboard, and we can click again on anywhere on the legend. I'm responsible for BD for employment, and I can see immediately where we're doing employment work and the glaring omissions where we're not. And that really allows us to be very, very quick in identifying white space opportunities. And we can then click and drill down to look at the underlying data. And a key point of usability with the solution is that anything in blue, those records on the right-hand side, will allow us to click through. We can click through either to the underlying matter or to the company record. In terms of that all-important 360-degree client view for planning, just wanted to highlight, a couple of things. And it's just where we're using AI. So one of those is in client listening. So below that, we've got a chart of client listening. We are able to process audio interviews for sentiment analysis and themes and trends. So you could be doing a whole load of interviews. We can process them quickly and give you insight into those and trends, not just across your contacts in a customer, but across your client base as well. We've also used AI in our what we call our targeted news, which provides a trawling news gathering service across the internet related to simple search terms which anybody can add around a client. So 360-degree view. Of course, from here we can look at matters, our BD plans, marketing engagement, referrals, and so forth, but not enough time for that. And then the beating heart of CRM, relationships. So here in the middle of our company record, we have our relationship scoring. In the box on the right, I can see our contacts. We're looking at our key contacts in blue, Stuart Levy, and the drop downs of 5 of my colleagues who know him with an individual relationship score against them. And to the right, we can see how that score is made up of emails in, emails out, meetings, and other BD activities like phone calls. And of course, a relationship is more than just traffic. You also have appointed relationships like for client team members, which we have a dedicated record for. So that's looking for relationships to help find cross-sell introductions. And then relationships beyond the firm with LinkedIn. And we can see this at a contact level, and at a company level, we can see other people within that organization we may not have in CRM, we can add them directly to CRM. So very, very powerful. Moving on to business plans. It's interesting that business plans have really started surfacing over the last 3 or 4 tenders. So here we can set up a business plan for let's say it's a practice plan, as we've got here in the red box for employment. We're going to target that to get into Microsoft, build our employment services within Microsoft, and we can nominate plan contributors. The other important thing about business planning is it's got to be measurable, targeted and measurable. So here we've got a number of different targets. We've got fees and pipeline targets here. We've got marketing engagement ones, other sorts of targets you might want, which help contribute to actually building that relationship and getting the work. And then this is measurable because we can attach any of the opportunities, any of the matters which we believe to attribute to this plan, to the plan, get a roll-up total of those fees, and then give us a sort of percentage score on attainment. So measurable business plans and actionable as well. Actionable in terms of one sort of set of stages and fields to follow to actually achieve the outcome you want, and also particularly at the bottom being able to auto create activities, tasks, pro forma meetings, emails for members of that BD team that within that plan to execute on. So actionable BD plans which are actionable and measurable. In terms of business development, pipeline, as I said, the focus seems to be more on getting lawyers involved, getting them to take responsibility. Here we've got our pipeline report for the employment practice and the responsible fee earners there who are responsible for generating new business, or overall responsible for generating new business, be that it's done by the BD team, of course. And their ability to also contribute to that. So here's an example of the mobile app. The mobile is exactly the same interface as you get within the web client, Teams and Outlook interface. It's just sized differently, of course. And here's our post-meeting contact report, where I've been to see Stuart Levy, and I've sent a report to Andy Yeomans and Veronica asking them to send the employment credentials as quickly as possible. Now, that is a task record that will end up in Andy Yeomans' dashboard, his task dashboard, and he'll be able to convert that to an opportunity record. And within the opportunity record, I won't go into a huge amount of detail. There is tons and tons of functionality here. One of the key aspects of it is what's called a business process flow, which gives you a structured approach to the fields, the critical fields of information and steps that need to be accomplished to complete an opportunity. To do that, to follow best practice, to follow compliance. And we've got everything else built into there, stakeholders, proposed client team members and so forth, competitors, and the various compliance stages. Now, talking of proposed team members, with our matter, the key thing here, AI, everybody's interested in. Where is AI appearing? It's with Copilot. This is changing almost on a weekly basis because I found a new element that Microsoft's added. So we've got the opportunity summary. Now, this has moved on as well. There's now a new search in there, new intelligence, which looks beyond that opportunity to see how it relates to other activities and opportunities in the pipeline. It provides a summary of the tasks and emails and meetings which are synced to the record, so the correspondence, a summary of correspondence, and then you can call Copilot from within opportunities, and I've used that here to ask it for some commentary on HSBC share price. Okay, sorry, we are going at a rate here. And then who do we want to put in that client team? I can search for members of our lawyer base, our internal employees, based on their work histories, based on their skills and qualifications. So here in the box, we have all the matters that Veronica has been working on. So obviously, again, that's from our PMS integration. And from here, I can output a resume ready to go in the credentials pack. Might need a bit of editing, but it's all there at the press of a button that is current. So it includes information, her little bio on her employee record, qualifications, so forth for an employee record, and then the description on those matters of which she's been working. So there we are. I won't backtrack through what's appearing in tenders and how we and why people are moving to us, but anyway, that's a snapshot of what we're doing and what other firms are asking for. Brian, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, John. Really insightful, and thank you for attending, everybody. We've got a couple of minutes left, so I think we've had a couple of questions, haven't we, Gemma? So if you could post a couple of those in the chat, maybe we can address some of them. Okay, first one: what's happening with AI? What's Microsoft doing with it? And what's HSO doing with it? Well, I think I covered that briefly. We made a commitment to Charles Lama, who heads up BizApps in this, for Microsoft globally, that we would embed Copilot into every release moving forward. That was 18 months ago, and we've done that. We've delivered on that promise. And you know, actually, if you think about it, and it'd be great to do a full demo with some of you guys in the future, where you can see Copilot actually in action with our IP, where you can summarize business development plans and lots of other assets of and elements of our processes. So yeah, really exciting times. And again, you know, we're our IP, Legal 360, new Microsoft technology, taking advantage of Microsoft's billions of pounds worth of investment in AI moving forward. We've probably got one more, Gemma. Is there another question maybe that we could pop in there? How can you change fee earners' behaviours? Too busy. Well, I talked about it briefly. John doubled down on it, but the idea is that we automate as much of this stuff as possible for fee earners. So by going back in their diaries and harvesting the data from their appointments, their emails in, emails out, and bringing that intelligence, harvesting it and bringing it back into the marketing and business development teams, we are lessening and automating what the fee earners need to do on a daily basis. Anything to add to that, John?
Yes. Well, it's taking the burden of the drudgery away, which they're never interesting. So the fact that they can track who else is speaking to my client is a key area, which is tickling their interest and getting them involved in there. In fact, you know, we're working with one particular firm where we've got close to the managing partner, and he is sick to death of embarrassment and conflicts where he's bumping into colleagues, or they've just left a meeting that he's set up when he's been on his travels. So he's doubled down on his PA, making sure that everything he's doing in terms of engagement with clients is in the CRM, and
thank you, John.
His colleagues are.
Yeah, thank you, John.